Some context before we start the video, I have never built a PC in my life. If you've watched my TikTok or Instagram, you'd know that the most I have done is install SSD and swap my GPU. But the other day I was wondering, since I was 15, I've watched Linus Tech Tips, Julian Tech TM, and JZ2Cents build countless PCs. And I thought, could I build a PC just from watching all those videos? Well, literally the same week, ASUS was like, hey, will you be able to build an entire PC if we sent you some of the parts? And of course I said yes, right? Like, how hard could it be? So ASUS sent over a few components. Let's take a look. So for our motherboard, we have a Tough Gaming B650 Plus. Now you can pause to read all the specifications if you want, but the thing that really caught my eye on this is the 3 M.2 slots, 2 USB-C slots, and 6 USB ports. Also, it supports DDR5 RAM. Amazingly, ASUS also sent over our CPU, which is a Ryzen 7 9700X. This thing is gonna absolutely destroy my old CPU, which is a i7 8700. Now to cool that CPU, ASUS also sent over a ROG Strix LC3 240 ARGB AIO Cooler. This thing is gonna look so good inside the case with the 2 RGB fans and this nice little logo on the CPU heatsink. Now as for power, we also got a Tough Gaming 850 watt power supply. This thing should be enough to power all of the things that we're gonna shove into this PC. And we have the case! Oh my god! So for our case, we have a GT302 ARGB that ASUS sent over. This thing is bloody massive, and it also has this very nice front grille over here, which I think is gonna look freaking awesome with the included RGB fans. Also, I want to highlight that on this package, it literally says here this entire thing is 27 kilograms. I also managed to get some components myself, either by taking it from my old PC or finding some stuff on Carousel for slightly cheaper. Now for my GPU, I stole it from my old computer. It's a Zotac Gaming RTX 4070 Ti. I got this on Carousel for about $900, which I think is a pretty good deal. Next, I also managed to get 32GB of Trident Z5 Neo RGB RAM. This thing is at 6000 megahertz. This thing is at 6000 megahertz CL32. I managed to get this entire thing for $170 on Carousel, which is pretty good. And lastly, for storage, we'll be installing a Lexa NQ790 1TB NVMe SSD. Now that might be enough for some people, but I'm probably gonna add some extra hard drives and extra SSDs in the future. I say in the future, but it's probably gonna be next week. Hi, Future Max here. Just in case any one of you are actually watching this video to learn how to build a PC properly, you're gonna need to prepare a Windows Media Creation tool, okay? It's really easy. We're gonna be using it further into the video, but I'm just gonna explain how to do it in 30 seconds. All you're gonna need is a thumb drive that at least has 8GB of space. I didn't have one, so I just bought one for $13. Also, when you're doing this, it's gonna wipe out anything that's actually in your thumb drive, so make sure to delete everything. Next, go onto Google and search Windows 11 Media Creation Tool. And after clicking the first link, you're gonna go to Create Windows 11 Installation Media and press Download. Then just run the program that it downloads and go through all the steps. Once you're done, eject the thumb drive and you are ready to go. Okay, so now that y'all know exactly what parts are going into the PC, we can actually start building. As I said, I haven't actually built a PC by myself before, so let's figure it out together. For the past few weeks, I have just been watching 1,000 different YouTube videos on how to build a computer, which, I mean, that makes me an expert already. So I know that the first step is to begin with the motherboard. So let's open up the motherboard. Oh, I am really liking the yellow accents on the motherboard. Inside the box, we also have user guide and instruction manual. Oh, stickers. Yes. Wow. Look at it. It looks freaking crazy. So the next thing we're gonna plug in is the CPU. This is probably the most dangerous part because dropping this where I'm supposed to put it will destroy the pins and this whole motherboard cannot be used already. And I only got one of these from ASUS, so they're gonna kill me if I don't do this correctly. So let's unbox this thing. Look at that. Now for the CPU, for AMD, the pins are on the motherboard. So if you come and take a look here, I'm gonna lift this up. Look at all the pins there. These are very delicate. Do not touch them with anything, okay? I'm gonna close that for now. And if you take a look, oh my god. If you take a look at the CPU, do not hold it by the bottom, just hold it by the sides. Now a trick to putting it on, if you look at this yellow triangle right here, it is supposed to match up with the yellow triangle on that part of the motherboard. You see that? There are no other triangles. So it goes in like that. I'm just gonna very gently place it in. Now it's almost impossible to place it wrongly because there are all the notches, you see. I can't really move it around. And we're gonna cover that up, okay? And when this presses down, it's supposed to pop up. So just give it a little bit of force. Just like that. And we have installed the CPU. I'm gonna keep this as a souvenir. Okay, the most dangerous part has been completed. CPU is in. Great. So the next thing that we'll be installing is RAM. If you take a look at the motherboard over here, you can see that they've very nicely color-coded it. It's black, grey, black, grey. You are not supposed to install them side by side. So either both in black or both in grey. Alright, oh, these look beautiful. So how to know whether you're slotting your RAM correctly? If you take a look, I'm gonna slot it the wrong way. You see how the notch doesn't actually match up with the middle? You see that? Misaligned. They purposely make one side longer than the other. So if I do it the correct way, remember to skip one channel and put it in the next one. Push down this little latch or whatever you want to call it. Line it up on both sides like this, and it should go down into the slot like that. Yeah, press it nicely until this thing clicks on. 2 sticks of RAM installed. Now the next thing that we'll be plugging in is the AIO Cooler. Now this AIO Cooler comes with 2 RGB fans, and right here we have the, oh my god, the ginormous radiator and the thing that goes onto the CPU. Okay, I'm not gonna remove this plastic bit over here. This is actually thermal paste, pre-applied thermal paste, so I don't need to put my own on the CPU. This just goes on and you are done. Now, if you're like me and you're using AMD, we first got to remove this standoff and install the AMD version. Take off this plastic thing, push this down and twist. This thing comes right off. Like that. It just twists into place. Now next we gotta remove these plastic standoffs. Just use a screwdriver. Okay. So that's one, another. Take that out, that's another standoff gone. Now this is exactly why I bought the metal parts tray, you know. Oh no. Okay, so the next thing we gotta do is find this pack of screws over here. See? AMD, they nicely labeled it. I'm gonna pull these out. Shum. Now, you take these and these plastic stuff. For AM5, which is what I'm using, the ridges should be upwards, and you just insert the long side in, like this. And we are meant to screw it on like this. Twist that on. And we just gotta do it 4 more times. Okay, so we just take this and line it up like this. Fits. And we'll use these to secure them in place. We'll take a screwdriver and we'll tighten all of these. Alright, look at that. We have successfully installed the heatsink. Let's go! I'm so proud of myself. Okay, so now we're gonna mount the 2 fans that are included onto the heatsink. So the 2 fans will mount right there. And if you take a look on the fan, there are the arrows to tell you where the airflow is. So you can see the air will be sucked this way and the blades will be spinning in this direction. So it'll be like this. Now before installing the fans, just make sure you remove these. I want it to be an exhaust, so I will install it like this. The long screw, all it does, it just goes through like this and screws into this hole here. Now we gotta do it for all 4 sides. Alright, that's it. We just installed the fans for our radiator. Now I think we can put this entire thing into the case. Okay, so for the case, it's so big, I'm not gonna open it on the table, so we're just gonna do it here. Oh my god, look at it! Okay, we got the accessories box. Okay, it's just all the screws and this, wow, I forgot what they're called, and some zip ties. That's so cute. Oh, yeah. Let's go! Wow! Oh my god, it's so big. Tough gaming. Wow. For this gigantic case, we are gonna first take out the side panels. You can see these holes over here. I can just pull out. Wow, that's so nice. Alright, I'll take out this glass panel. See this? Write this side down. Alright, very nice. Lie this thing down. So inside the accessories box, we have this packet of many screws. This is what we're gonna use to screw the motherboard down. See these tiny little screws? And the motherboard has these holes here. So these screws will just go onto these holes like this, and screw into all these tiny standoffs right here. So this just goes on something like that. You see the holes? They are lined up with the holes below. And now we just screw them in using the screws. Easy peasy. Okay, perfect. Motherboard is secure, very good. Okay, so the AIO will just go right here. So you have that nice little curve inside. Oh, this is gonna look so good. They're gonna use the little screws that they provided to keep it in place. Yeah. Okay, this thing is secure. Just a summary of what we have done so far. If you take a look in here, we have put in RAM, we have attached the motherboard to the case, we have put in the AIO and the CPU, which is underneath the AIO. So, now, we're gonna put in the NVMe SSD that we have, which is actually very easy. On this case, there's a total of 3 M.2 slots. 2 underneath this over here, and 1 underneath this over here. This is the Gen 5 PCIe M.2, and this is Gen 4. So we're just gonna place our SSD right here, which is pretty simple. All we need to do is unscrew this cover. Yeah, look. NQ790. Put it up. Inside, you should have the drive itself and this tiny little screw. Whoa. So there's 2 ends to this. You can see one with a little notch over here, other side with this little curve. This curve is where this screw will go to hold it down. So just stick your NVMe drive at an angle like that. So it should dangle and bounce like this. The reason is because typically this screw over here, this tiny little screw, will be put in this hole right here. But this motherboard is amazing. You see this little tab over here? All I need to do is turn it this way a little bit, and bam! I don't even need a screw. This screw over here, we don't need. Okay, so now that we've installed the NVMe SSD, let's just put the heatsink back. Okay, that's the heat shield on. I mean the heatsink on. Now we can move on. So yeah, that's it. That, if I wasn't explaining, that would have taken literally less than 30 seconds. SSD installed. Now the only thing we actually have left is the power supply and also the GPU. Now I would rather put in the power supply first. GPU is pretty easy, it just boop, goes in. This guy is much more annoying. Now most PCs, you're gonna find a compartment like right here where it's gonna be this big hole. That's where the power supply will be. So let's open up our 850 watt power supply. So for this power supply, these are all the cables that they came with. They all go into these slots over here. The first few things that we need to plug in is this. This just gives power to the motherboard. You see, it's the biggest rectangle over here. They even nicely labeled ATX, which is our motherboard. For motherboard, okay? So this goes here. This goes here. This will go into here. And this thing will probably come out right here, so I can plug it in like that. Let's plug all the other cables into the power supply before we attempt to do that. We also need power for my GPU. This. A 600 watt cable right here. PCIe. So it just goes like that. Very nice. Next, we have CPU power. CPU power. CPU/PCIe. And we're gonna plug in this here. So now we're gonna put the power supply into the case. Now for this case, it's right down here. I'm just gonna put this right in here. Oh, no, sorry. The fan needs to face down. So I'm gonna put this right in here. And I can screw them in using these little screws that the power supply came with. Alright, very good. We're gonna plug in the motherboard, which is this gigantic cable here, but we're gonna route it through here because the connector is right there. Alright, so next thing we're gonna have to put is CPU power, but I screwed up and I put the fan in, and it's a little bit hard because it's like here and I need to route it like over here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove that fan. Thank God it's a very easy process. Now I have a little more space. Can you see this power socket here? And it clicks in. You see? Right there. Now I'm gonna put this stupid fan back. Yeah. Maybe it's easier to just buy a PC, right? Yeah. Fine. Okay, great. CPU power is plugged in. Okay, so here we are at the back of the PC, and there's a lot of things we need to connect. It might look very daunting, but actually it's not too bad. Let's just start with the front I/O connectors. In every case, you see these over here, power button, Type-C to USB and whatever. I think it's a light and audio. These are all of these cables. This one is very simple. All of the headers are super unique. You see? They're all very weird shapes. You can't confuse them. We have an eye, we have a 10 pin with this pin missing, a 10 pin with this pin missing, and this humongous amount of holes. We're just gonna play Lego. We're just gonna find where it is on the motherboard and connect it. First one I'm gonna do is this one. I think it'll be the easiest to find. It's this one right here. I'm just gonna feed this through to here and then just plug it in like that. Next we have this eye-shaped cable over here, and if I'm not wrong, it just goes right here. Gonna route this out here like that. Alright, perfect. Next we have these two. So this is the 10 pin with this pin missing, and this is the 10 pin with this corner missing. If I'm not wrong, it's this one right here and this one right here. Hi, Future Max here. I screwed up pretty badly right here. Although yes, these cables do fit in these slots, they are supposed to actually go here. It's literally labeled front panel, but you know, I just didn't catch it. This does cause some problems further into the video, but I just wanted to drop in to let you guys know. So we installed 2 fans in this AIO. There's 1 fan over here, came with the case, and 3 fans here that also came with the case. Each of these fans, since they're RGB, have 2 cables. One with 3 holes and one with 4 holes. If I'm not wrong, one is RGB and one is power. I forgot which is which. I think this is power. So you see this 4-pin connector here, and there's also these white 3-pin connectors over here. So we just plug them in accordingly. So this right here came with the case. What it is it takes 4 of these 3-hole plugs, okay, and mix them into 1 cable. It's like a multi-plug. And this one does the same thing, but for the 4-pin plug. So we're gonna combine these 4 fans into 1, and these 2 fans will have their own plugs. So let's start with our 2 AIO fans first. So for these 2 fans, we have a total of 2 3-pin holes and 2 4-pin holes. There are available sockets right here. So I'm just gonna plug them in. Connect right there, exactly like that. And we're gonna do the same thing for this, and this. Before I forget, I just need to remove this thing off of the radiator. Okay, very nice. Okay, so now for the easiest part, at least for me, which is installing the GPU. It's pretty easy. We just shove it into this metal slot over here. Okay? You can see the metal slot. So for our GPU to fit right here, you see this metal part here? Which means we need to remove these 2 black strips, and it's pretty easy. All we need to do is just remove these 2 screws. Okay, that one was just a little stuck. Okay, so this is the slot the GPU is going in. Make sure to press this down. Then all you need to do is align this notch over here with this, and we just plug it in. And we'll just use the screws to secure it in place. Alright, GPU installed. Easy peasy. 600 watt power. Just goes just like that. So all the parts are in. Theoretically right now, if I plug it into the wall power and press on, it should turn on. If it doesn't turn on, it means I f***ed something up somewhere, which I really hope it doesn't happen. Okay, so please. So to give the PC power, all I need to do, you see this hole here? We're gonna use the provided cable, plug it in right here. I just want to say we started filming at 3 PM. Okay, the time now is 11:45. So this dumb work, and I have work tomorrow. I have work tomorrow. By tomorrow, I mean in 15 minutes. I'm gonna flick on this power switch now. Supposedly, right now, when I press this power button here, the fans should start spinning, and after a little bit, we should see something appear on the monitor, the BIOS, okay? Moment of truth. Oh boy. Okay. Something's not connected properly. We changed to the socket on the wall, maybe that power plug didn't work. Let's see. Power? No. Why? So after looking at it a little bit, I might have plugged this HD audio and front panel thing wrongly. I think it should have been this one right here. These cables, so we're gonna try that. And if that doesn't work, then woohoo! And this goes here. This goes here. Okay. Now if I press, it might work. Yeah! god! Oh my god, please tell me something is appearing on the screen. The lights were on, everything seemed like it's working, but there was no display for a very long time. So it could be that my RAM was not put in properly. So we're gonna try to just take it out and put it back again. Remember to turn off your PC first. Okay, now let's try to power it up again. Oh, yes, let's go. Okay. Oh, let's go! Oh my god, what does it say? BIOS is updating. Do not shut down or... Oh! Okay. Please. Yes! We have boot! Let's go! Okay. Seeing this, it means this is working. What time is it now? It is 12:31. We started at 3 o'clock. This PC has taken me... How many hours is that? 9 hours to build. Okay, 9 hours. Jeez. Okay, so now that it's booted up, you take the thumb drive that we installed Windows Creation 2 on and you just plug it into the PC. And do note that you also need a keyboard for this. We might need to restart the PC, so... Oh, do you see that? I didn't even... Oh, okay. Okay, wasn't even expecting. I was expecting it to go to BIOS. I was, why is it blue color? So, you see, the moment I turned it on with the thumb drive plugged in, immediately it knew to boot from the thumb drive and we have the Windows 11 setup. What? We're gonna install Windows 11. So if they ask you for a product key, which I don't have, you can just come down here to I do not have a product key. Just click that. We will like Windows 11 home. Okay, so this 0 is my NVMe SSD. It's 1 terabyte. We're just gonna click this and press next. Alright, so ready to install. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and install. Installing Windows 10, let's go! By the way, I'm filming this on Deepavali. And the reason why I have to finish this today is because that GPU is from my current computer. If I don't make this computer usable by tomorrow, I am gonna have to work from home with no GPU, which is not an option because I edit videos. So yeah. PC will restart. Hopefully it boots up into Windows 11. Oh, let's go! Yes! No, I am not in United Kingdom. I am in Singapore. To continue setting up, I will actually need to bring this down to plug it into Ethernet. But it's okay. This just means that Windows is installed. So this is my old PC. Okay, the new PC is now over there, and it needs an Ethernet connection to set up the Windows, right? And I need an Ethernet cable, but my router is all the way there if you can zoom in onto it. So I will need a pretty fucking long Ethernet cable, which is not gonna work. So I decided, why not just steal the Wi-Fi card from my old computer? Right here, it's super easy. I just need to unscrew this screw here. So this is a Wi-Fi card. We're gonna try to plug it into there. All I need to do is come into the new PC here and look for this PCIe slot. You see this rectangle here? This thing here? Plug it right like that. Simple as that. These are the Wi-Fi antennas. These cables. So just screw them in. And this thing just sticks magnetically. Power on. So now we're hoping to see that we can connect via Wi-Fi. That would be great. Oh, look at that. We have Wi-Fi. Oh, your PC will restart before you continue. Restarting. Updates are underway. Yes! Yes! I'm so tired. Okay, so my girlfriend has gone home, but I still need to settle this PC. And another problem we have is that a lot of the things that I need for work tomorrow are still in this old computer, and I need them in this new computer. So what I can do is remove the NVMe SSD with all the important stuff and just put it into the new computer. It should be fine, but all I need to do is make sure I go into the BIOS when it starts up to double confirm that it doesn't try to boot off the new SSD. Other than that, it should work perfectly fine. So yeah, let's give it a try. Okay, so this is the old PC, and all I need to do is just take out this NVMe SSD right here. I just need to pop out this screw over here, and this whole thing should just slide out. And all I need to do is just pull it out. Okay, so in the new PC, this is the heatsink covering 2 NVMe SSD slots. So I'm gonna unscrew both of those so you can get to it. Okay, now you see this thing here, M.2, so the card just goes right here. So we take the SSD and we take the side with the notch here and we insert it right over here. Slot it in like that. Now we need to put this heatsink back on. Okay, great. Okay, so now the heatsink is back on, the SSD should be connected, and now we're gonna try to turn on the computer but not forget to spam F2 so that we go into the BIOS. Power on, spam F2. And we should go into the BIOS. Alright, we are in the BIOS. Okay, so the reason we come into the BIOS is just to double check that yes, we are using our NQ790 1TB SSD, the one that we originally put in this computer with Windows. So I just went into File Explorer and look at that. Our old SSD is here and it's working exactly how it was in my old computers. All of my folders are right here. That's awesome. Yeah, boy. That's perfect. So after filming that clip, I just collapsed into my bed, and it's a week later now. The PC is still doing great. I haven't done the proper cable management yet, but this thing runs anything that I throw at it so well. I'm actually so proud of myself for building the PC correctly. To be honest, I felt like it only took me 12 hours because we were filming the whole process. I had to constantly make sure the camera could see everything and that I was actively explaining. If not, we had to do retakes. If I was just solely focusing on building the computer, I feel like I could have done it in maybe 4 to 5 hours, and honestly, it really wasn't that hard. Like yes, there were moments where I got stuck, but it was nothing that the instruction manual or YouTube video couldn't fix. Honestly, if you told me to build this exact PC again, I think I could do it in maybe 1 to 2 hours. If you have watched to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. I also want to especially thank ASUS for believing that I could build a PC, and my girlfriend who filmed me for 12 hours straight. Thank you again so much for watching, and if you want to see more of these types of videos, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye!